Yo ho! A zombie has arrived up from my tree. Hello guys, this is Zobymaruu and welcome back to Zoby Plays Minecraft. I don't know if I've said it like that yet in this series, but it's time. So we have gotten our soul sand in our farm now from our piglin trading, thanks to Omni's magnificent and beautiful comment. We were able to trade some gold and get some soul sand for our bubble vader. And you wouldn't believe how slow this farm is. I've just kind of been waiting here since I slept to get a mob coming, and it's almost midday. I got one zombie. It's so slow. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that's a result of my caves not being lit up enough, or my farm being too far away, or a poor design of the farm, like being underground instead of above and falling down to, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, what we're gonna do today is get some green dye. Yes, we're gonna do some building today. But before we do building, I want to make a map with our stuff we have collected. Let's do that. Make an empty map. I feel like I did this before, but I can't remember doing it. I know I wanted to do it for a while. So let's scribble it up. Wait, there's our tree. I want to emphasize it. And by emphasize, of course, I mean make it bigger, I think is the word. I'm going to bring a crafting table with me so I can... I already had one. Let's place it down. I can't believe myself sometimes. Let's just spread it open by 2 for now. Map number 4. Oh no, we're way on the side. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to be more in the middle. Dang it. Must be close to the region border? Maybe? I don't know. Let's go explore it and see what happens. I feel like I zoomed up the map too much. I'm going to make another one. Let's go for a little walk. Perhaps we can see something that we haven't seen before, which would be kind of neat. So I've taken my Brita filter and I've put it inside of my fridge. And now I've got cold water, and I've never done that before. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you like your water cold? Like, would you put your water in the fridge to cool it off? Or if you put your canned pops, or I guess sodas as some may call it, do you put them in your fridge? I always keep mine at room temperature. So I want to know what you guys think. Now that I think about it though, exploring this new map will be a good opportunity to show off what I've done since last episode, which is just a little bit more terraforming so far. I put it in this little hedge gateway thing into this area, which I kind of like it. I dig it. And then I'll put this over here. It's out of the way kind of, but you still kind of see it. I extended out my design over into this area and was started to work more over towards the greenhouse. I have plans for a building to put over here, so I didn't do the terraforming over in this area yet. But I also continued it down to the water side over here and up this way. If we get over here, you can see our bridge is still here. Just started briefly over on this side. Just up this area, and made a pathway leading up to the greenhouse. I also filled in the cliff underneath here and added in some polished andesite, as well. I'm going to add in some regular andesite like I've done over here to spruce it up a little bit with some leaves up top. It's turned out pretty nice. I think it'll turn out nicer when I get leaves and change all this stuff over into podzol, path blocks, and coarse dirt. But yes. Now when I created this platform, it was pretty flat, so I made sure to make the height different along the way. Because if it's too flat, it becomes too boring. So like, you always got to keep height changes in everything you do. I personally think, at least, so that way it becomes much nicer. Like I could have kept all of my terraces flat, but on each of them I have a height difference. But yes, I'm gonna keep on filling out this map, and then we can look at it on an item frame, which will be pretty neat. I think that's a pretty nice view. Looks really good, actually. Oh, I'm really loving the way this area is turning out.
Listen to me. Listen to my voice.
I have been unhappy with the way my voice has been sounding, so I've spent some time to diddle around with the settings, and I've gotten to this point. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But I want to get right into building here. I tried recording this earlier, but I couldn't get anything to work for me. So I went into a redstone testing world just to fiddle around with different kind of contraptions and the likes. So let's jump right over there and I'll show you what I've found. So here we are in my redstone testing world where I've only messed around with a couple things so far. Now in here I want to talk about the basis of moss farming. How it works essentially is you have a stone generator with a moss block, which is your seed, and you take a dispenser and you bone meal the moss block seed and it transforms your stone into moss. Now, when you power a piston that pushes it, it breaks the moss. So that's how you collect it. And the further you go, it just breaks more and more and more, which is pretty neat. And the reason why we want moss is because if you get a composter and you fill it up with moss, you get bone meal back, which is what you use to fuel the system. Now there are a few things to note, where if there is a grass or moss carpet or something like that above the moss seed, you cannot grow anymore, so you have to break that first. And another thing to note is that if carpets spawn on top of the moss, when you shift it underneath, it's not going to break the carpet, and that will prevent more moss from growing there, which is problematic. So the first design I thought of was trying to have a tileable design, so you have it one block wide only and you can spread it out as wide as you like. So this would be a good design to go with, where it pulls the stone out of the way first and then it generates a new one and you push it aside here. Now I don't have the slime blocks in my world to make this work, since I only have barely any. I think I have like 10 or something. So this design is a no-go. Next, I tried having 2 water blocks on each end that would flow to the middle, but the lava would flow faster than the water could get back in there, so it would just fail, and then you get this stuff where lava just everywhere. No good, no good. So finally, I came up with this design where the water is in between each of the pistons, so you only have a piston every other block, but you have them staggered on each side, so it kind of closes in on each other, like as if you're locking your fingers together. Now I'm not going to explain this here. I'm going to go into my survival world. And just build this, and I'll explain it as I go. So here we are in our greenhouse, and I've put this dirt ring to signify our stone platform that will be changed into moss. I'm going to make it double wide, so I'm going to have 2 dispensers each for bone meal. Now what I've done is I've put the pistons 1 block apart, like it is in the farm, and staggered one over. So this piston over here will push this row, while this piston will push the one right next to it, and keeps on going back and forth and back and forth. Now, when we have our water here, we're having a 1 forward from the piston in a waterlogged stair so that it can't flow backwards. And it can also flow to either side. So when this gets pushed out of the way, the water is going to flow back into it, and then the lava is going to fall onto it, creating more stone that's going to reset the system. I'm going to have obsidian in front of the waterlogged stairs so that the other piston can't push it and mess it up. Now what I'm going to do is put some green terracotta here just as a nice block to use. And I'm going to put lava inside of each of these little holding compartments and hope that doesn't burn down everything. Alright, let's see if this works for now. I just set up a redstone line that will push them all over. Aha! I don't want to go too fast, otherwise it will wreck the design. I hope it won't do that, because if any cobblestone appears, I will have to manually remove it, which would be problematic. Last push, and then now, if I press the button again, it shouldn't do anything because it's all stopped at the obsidian. Perfect. Now I need to find the optimal placement for the water sources so that it touches all of the spots of the system. Because if it doesn't clear all of the carpets, then we're losing efficiency. So it looks like we will have to put 6 water sources in the system to clear out everything. So we'll have a dispenser on each of the corners that will fire off and collect it all. Now with our 6 dispensers in here, we now have them all filled up with water buckets, and now they're primed and just need to be connected. Now onto the heart of this contraption, we're creating our timer, which will run the generator and everything else. What I've made here so far is a monostable circuit, so no matter what length of pulse this gets, this will create it into a 1-tick pulse. So if you watch the wire, it just blinks on really quickly. This is still powered, but this is off. So that will mean that hopefully we won't get cobblestone and it'll just make the farm work better. Now what we're going to make next is a hopper clock. And that is going to be our timer, the hopper clock. If I can remember how to build it properly, it would actually help like a ton. So, if I get rid of this, put this here, get ourselves a comparator, which will lead into 2 hoppers right here and right here. Then do the same over here. We're going to put our comparator, block, redstone dust, then a sticky piston. Has to be sticky piston, not regular, otherwise it won't work. Redstone block and a sticky piston on the other side. Now, when we have our items in here, it is going to flicker back and forth. Never mind. Ah, I see. This one is not actually being powered because it's sucking it this way, which is actually really problematic. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to move it instead from being there to right here. With our piece of sand. Oops, I actually didn't want to use a regular. I want to use a regular piston there instead of a sticky piston. Where did it go? Where did my sticky piston go? It's gone! Where'd it go? It's not there. Did it get burned up in the lava? Am I losing my mind? Oh, there it was. It was just over here. Anyways, let's put this back. Piston with a piece of sand. And now, when this is on, it's going to flicker our redstone signal every time our 3 moss blocks get sent back and forth. So what I'm going to have is our dropper system, which will, every time this wire activates 3 times, it's going to, actually this is a perfect location to connect it to the system. It's going to fire off our seed grower and our water carpet destroyificator. And it will be a very good deal. So we're going to start with a comparator into a repeater. That is going to go into a block, into one more repeater, one more block with torches on these 2 with a signal strength of 2 and signal delay of 4. Then what we're going to have is this leading all the way back here. This wire will go into a block, which this is going to power the hopper with a redstone wire leading like this. So now, every time this activates with our 3 moss blocks in here, it's going to 1, 2, 3, then that should go off, sending all the items back into the dropper to be reset. Now we're going to have this wire go all the way over to here, which will activate the dispensers. And I'm using a observer here so that it sends off a signal once when the line turns on and once when the line turns off. So that every time the farm activates, it will place and get rid of the water in the same rotation. So let's try it out for a second. 1, 2, 3, and then it should activate and get rid of it. Perfect. And then once more. Perfection. The next step I want to do to this farm is to clean it up a little bit. I don't want this redstone line to be on top of it so that I can get my hopper line and more redstone wires nicely more condensed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a block here underneath the dispenser with a redstone torch underneath it that'll power through the block in powering the dispenser. Next, I'm going to fix this up so it looks nice and it's safer. And I'm going to have a line powering through it. And I'm going to suck power from this block, which has a torch under it. And it's going to get the power from this side, and it's going to suck it through, continuing on. The nice thing about this farm design is that when it breaks the moss blocks, it doesn't leave a gap for water to flow through. So this wiring down here is actually safe. As soon as the stone gets pushed back out, it will be completely safe. Now another one of the reasons why I put it below is so we can get another wire leading up here to activate our seed grower. So we're going to take power off of this line from before it gets sent through the observer, so it doesn't have a double pulse. It'll only have one singular pulse. Now what we're going to do is send a line over these hoppers that are going to power the dispenser, and then with a delay of 2, we're going to set this piston out to break any grass or carpets that grow on top of it. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And then now the farm should be actually operational. I'm going to run the farm for a second without the water so that these gaps fill back in first. Uh-oh. For some strange reason, this side has stopped firing. I have absolutely no idea why these pistons are not firing. They're being powered right here. If I press this button right here, they all get sent off, which is so odd. Alright, it seems I've managed to fix it by replacing our input from a 1-tick pulse to a 2-tick pulse by having it go through a repeater as the last step. Since repeaters can't go at 1 tick, they can only go at 2 ticks at minimum. So that extra game tick, which is 1/20th of a second, is making all the difference. Alright, so it took a little bit more figuring out, so I didn't record the process of it, and it's not very pretty so far. But in order to show what I've done, I'm gonna have to get a little bit cheaty. I'm gonna go into spectator mode just so that I can show off what I've done. So first of all, we're gonna have a hopper minecart that's gonna go back and forth that can be turned on and off with this redstone line here, which leads to our heart of the machine. Okay. So then the hopper minecart goes over top of these hoppers into a dropper with a redstone clock in here, so whenever an item goes into the dropper, it creates a loop here, and that will also power the dropper. I haven't lost me yet, I hope. It goes into a water stream that leads over this way, which will then go up a bubble vader up to here, which this lever here switches the direction that the water flows. So if it flows this way, it goes into our composter, into our chest here, where we can refill the system. Or if we have the other way, we can just collect moss and azaleas and the likes on its own. Now, I'm kind of scared. I want to test the system. I haven't tested it yet, and we're going to see how it works. Okay? I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and we're going to hope it works. And if it doesn't work, well then that's just going to be the end of the video because it's already so long. So I'm going to fill this back in so that we don't get water flowing where we don't want it. Then we're gonna fill in some bone meal here. This is all I have. So if we fall behind, we're out of luck. We're gonna have to wait more. I'm also going to get our water buckets and fill the droppers right here. Dispensers, I mean. Okay, here we go. The system is primed. We're ready to lock and load. Oh, I'm scared. Okay. It's going to go into our composter. Good. Come on, baby. Oh. I disconnected the I disconnected the growing system. Okay, here we go. Now we're primed and ready to load. How do I get out of here? I don't remember. Over this way. This thing is so convoluted. Okay. We're gonna cross our fingers again. Here we go. Here we go. Oh boy. Is it gonna work? It's still not working. There we go. Oh boy. Growing back. Good. Okay. We might have to slow down our growing system a little bit. We're getting some bone meal back. Slowly. So it looks like we will get our bone meal back, but we need to work on our collection system. But that's enough work I'm going to do on this episode for today. Let's move on to the comment of the day. So today's comment of the day is from our good buddy Corey Kite Gaming once again. He says, "It's really cool seeing the place start to take shape. It's cool to see a bunch of things getting started at once." Yeah, I like it. So far I'm liking being able to just jump in between projects. We'll definitely need to get more projects going too, but this has been a lot of fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. So, uh-oh, we are broken. We're definitely broke. Oh, did it fix itself? That's weird. Okay, we're gonna have to look at the system more. Oh no. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like button helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe for more in the future. And for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Oh no.